What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Drone Talk. It's your boy Tyler. Guys, we have a really awesome show going on. We were supposed to do the show last week. I forget what happened. I think I had a family function. And so we moved the show to this week. And so real quick, we're gonna get some home housekeeping business. I want to say thank you to everyone who's in the chat right now. We got Rebel Gaming, that's my boy LP, Shinobi Raccoon, Drip Monkey says anybody got their popcorn ready. Alan Ellsworth, Jim Lee on this episode. Damn, I know, right? Ichthus, Tyler, where's my pick in the thumbnail? Also, what's up, Total Excellence? We got Ignition, Get Tuned, Hey All, Drip Monkey, No Todd Father. He's the George Lucas of comics. Arno Lopez, Hero there, Adrian, what up? What up? And my boy Brian Cargill from Tactus Media. Heck yeah, let's go. My boy Brian, we've been friends since we were in preschool. He's a freaking awesome dude. I'll have to have him on the show again because he's just taking on like independent freelance marketing. And it's just awesome to watch him sort of like that. And Massive Panda says, "What's good?" So real quick, if you guys saw the thumbnail that I did, it has Jim Lee, Fiona Staples, Sean Gordon Murphy, and Jeff Lemire. I just grabbed those four artists. Who knows what we're actually going to be talking about? So let me bring on my guest. We have Todd Mulrooney, the artist from the hit comic Florida Man, which we will be talking about here shortly. Todd, thank you for being on. Oh, I think you're muted.
It's my pleasure to be on. Sorry, I was muted. I was
you're good.
Just trying to be professional about, but I always forget before I come in. Not to make any noise because there's always background noise. But we've had little conversations here and there, and I do pay attention to your show and watch a lot of episodes. So I'm glad to be on. It's my pleasure.
Well, no, I'm grateful to have you on. Like I watch I've been watching like Floorman Grow. I've been like looking at the art. I remember seeing a page that you posted on Twitter, and it was like of the car. It was a shot of the car, and I just remember being like, holy crap, like the detail on that is so good. And I was drawing a car at the same time as I saw that, and I just went F it, and I erased it, and I was like, new scene, no car. Because Todd's car was way better than my car. So Todd is an excellent artist, and his comic book Florida Man is kind of controversial because I'll let him tell you guys a story, but it kind of got canceled by Reddit. And let me tell you guys something about cancel culture. We don't like cancel culture here. I went to Hoo Hot today. It's a Mongolian restaurant. I'm surprised they haven't been canceled because one of their sauces is Burn Your Village Down barbecue sauce. And that thing tasted delicious, but I was pretty surprised that they were able to have that in there. But I hope they continue to have it on there. Todd, tell us about Florida Man graphic novel, and how did you guys get kicked off of Twitter? Reddit.
Well, this is something we were doing late at night. How do we promote? This is early stages. How do we promote Florida Man? And me and I had gotten some of my friends, and we do these little hangouts just kind of like we're doing at night, and I got them to go on and share it. But Chris Brawley did it the next night and got himself banned. So what he did was, because you can't share your own stuff, and that's kind of why you get other people to help. You can't go in there and say, hey, look at my project, this is Florida Man, because then you'll get banned because that's in the rules in the comic book subreddit. So he did it, granted he is part of the project, but he's not a creator of the project. He's just project managing the project. So he just did one of those simple, Mike Barron's back in comics. He just successfully crowdfunded Nexus, and now he's coming out Florida Man. This looks great. Can't wait to get it. Simple as that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was very, very benign like that. And then that got him banned from the subreddit comic books. And so there was a conversation between him and a moderator named Null. And basically Null knew exactly who he was, where he was from, and that his website, Bleeding Fool, shows Comicsgate product. Almost like calling him, you're a Comicsgate sympathizer. Your kind is not welcome here. It's true. That's kind of like exactly what the guy was saying. We don't want anyone affiliated with Comicsgate, anyone affiliated with your site, and you are not allowed here anymore. It's like, holy crap. So it's kind of dirty deeds done dirt cheap, but it all worked in our favor because John Trent covered a story in Bounding into Comics that he had the screenshots, the conversations between Null and Chris Brawley and stuff, and he wrote a really nice article. But that article turned into people doing videos, expose videos, the kind like Ethan used to do, where he's just kind of using his finger and he's scrolling along.
Mhm.
Look what they're saying. This is what they say. Blah blah blah. So it was Captain Frugal, Clownfish TV, and Heels versus Baby Faces, who did a video within the first 24 to 30 hours, and boy, people were mad. People were mad and said, you know what? Let's go back this book, in spite of being canceled,
Mhm.
and kicked off of Reddit. So it really gave us a huge jump. We were funded in the first 11 days of our campaign.
That's awesome. Everyone in the chat saying, cancel culture is stupid. We don't like it. In fact, and then my friend Brian asks, is that an alligator or a crocodile on the cover?
That is an alligator. Alligators, crocodiles, their snout kind of comes in and then gets fat. Where alligators are just like, they're like bulls. They're just really big along the snout, and then it curves a little back in the neck. But crocodiles are a little different. It slims in here and then gets bigger out here.
Who knew, you guys, that you guys were gonna learn something today about animals? But that's awesome, and it goes to show. I say this a lot. I think there's two reasons why people will back a book. The first one is that the book is quality, and then the second reason why they'll back the book, if it's not about the quality, is they'll get behind the person. They either like the creator or they're doing it for a quote unquote cause. And with Florida Man, you guys have both of those, where it's a quality looking book and the creators are awesome, but then you also have that we're not going to let this book get canceled, and we're going to support it to show, hey, we're not about this. In fact, everyone, if you guys would like to cancel my book on Kickstarter right now, in the chat, just go ahead and cancel it. So we can also get that. We're at 87 backers, my highest I've ever done. $2,353. Very proud of that. Link is in the description for both Florida Man and Entity. Now, what's funny is, I think it was a couple weeks ago. It was late at night. We had a swag battle.
Oh yeah.
Where right. John Dillard has let's see, is he in the chat? John Dillard has this thing that he does that semi annoys me. And I'll just mute the tweet, where he'll tweet something and he'll tag 1,000 people in it.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't want to be. And then after that, I have to get every notification. So I'll just like mute the conversation. But he does it, and then you then brought in your campaign, and then I brought in my campaign, and then a couple other creators put in their campaigns, and then we started having a swag battle. And I had to dip out, guys, because you guys have what? Lunch boxes, towels.
Beach towel, shirt.
And I was like, I've got the book and a trading card. So I was like, guys, Florida Man wins. They win.
We got trading cards, and they're surprise trading cards.
Oh, well, frick, there you go.
So we're giving things like that, but those will be the things you go, oh my god, I didn't expect these.
Oh my gosh, that's like, and and I tried to win. I try to be like, yo, my Kickstarter Entity has free shipping. So and I guess that doesn't beat a lunchbox. And I thought the lunchbox was cool. In fact, after you, I'm trying to just put the links in there in the chat. Once I saw the lunchbox, I was like, crap, how do I manufacture my own lunchboxes? And that's the greatest thing I think about being in the comics community and talking with people like you and others. You get to learn about these really cool perks that you have. I would never think about creating a lunchbox. Whose idea was that for your guys' campaign?
We were having strategic meetings, and Chris Brawley had one in the office, So
Okay.
it was just out of an organic conversation. So it was his idea because he had one, and he said, "Look, I used to collect these because we were talking about things like you would go to a zoo and they might have a keychain and it would have an alligator on it. So kind of looking up where do we get these little tchotchkes that will fit in a Gemini mailer and stuff like that. And so we decided which ones we really wanted because this is our first crowdfunding and we wanted to make it an event. So we kind of had it's if you look at it, it's kind of thematic. You would bring some lunch to the beach, you'd have your beach towel, and you'd have your T-shirt. So it's an event in that sense. And so the lunchbox, really kind of fit the whole idea of going to the beach with your towel, your lunch, and reading the book and wearing your T-shirt. But there's other things. I mean, obviously, Florida Man we're lucky. We have a really great logo, so it's very nice and clean and easy
No,
to.
the Florida's the L in that. That's so creative, guys.
Yeah, so it kind of merchandises itself. There's no amount of merchandise that we can't do, as far as like getting the word out there about Florida Man. So we will have more things in future campaigns, but there was a lot of things that were thought of, and we kind of slimmed it down to these things. And
For sure. Have you ever played the Florida Man birthday game?
I have been on streams where they've done it. They just never did it with my birthday.
Well, let's do mine and then we'll do yours. What you do, guys, is you put in your birthday and then you go Florida Man. And you just look at the headlines. Come on, my typing. Ever since my mic hole broke, it just sucked. So Florida Man arrested for trafficking cocaine, jars of human tongues discovered under Florida Man's house. Florida Man throws pizza slice at his mom during an argument. So those are like my top three. What's your birthday? We don't have to give a year.
May 27th.
All right. Florida Man arrested for Grand Theft Auto trying to walk out of the store with an AK-47 stuffed down his pants. Jeez.
Wow.
Florida Man kicked chicken like a field goal. And May 27th, city finds a Florida man second time for violating 2 rabbit limit.
2?
Yeah, I guess there's a Gainesville man who neighbors say is responsible for an outbreak of loose rabbits in the neighborhood has finally been fined for the second time. So I guess he owned 25 rabbits, but I guess there's a limit of 1.
They don't want him breeding. They breed like rabbits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So everyone go into the chat. Go in the chat. Go onto Google. Play the Florida Man birthday game. It's pretty hilarious. So all right, guys. So go check out Florida Man. I mean, the art is beautiful. I love the style that you guys have. This book would look gorgeous if it was in black and white, but you guys do it in color. And it's Florida Man, so it's just gonna be ridiculous and fun. And that's something I've been talking about with like my wife and a lot of other creators. A lot of my favorite genre of anything is depressing. I like sad endings. I like dark stuff, which is why everyone hated The Last of Us 2. I love The Last of Us 2 because when I was done, I wanted to kill myself. I had a fun time being depressed, and I'm realizing a lot of people just like to have fun. And this looks like a fun book, and so I need to start doing more fun ideas. Is that a snake coming out of a toilet?
Yeah, that's a python coming out of the toilet.
A what?
A python.
Oh, I thought you said a potty-thon, and I was like, oh,
that's actually a good name.
Oh, well, you put that in there, and I want credits.
But let me say this about the book. As far as it is fun. It is comedic. The lines aren't funny. The situations are funny. Gary's, a bit of a knucklehead, and he does knuckleheaded things to try to get rich. So it's one snowball after another. But his, it's not meant it's not jokes and puns and euphemisms and shit like that. It's really just a fun tale about a guy who really, really tries as hard as he can to make it in the world, but he's a bit of a dunderhead. He's a knucklehead. And
so it's relatable for all of us.
It obviously leans into the whole idea of Florida Man did this, Florida Man did that, the memes, the hashtags and all that. It leans into that, right? But it's as if all of them were done by one guy. and all of them are done by Gary. So Gary's our main guy, and he is the quintessential Florida man, you know, and he's always having a bad day. And by the way, this is a book written by a 46-year veteran, Mike Barron, who has well over 300 independent comics under his belt and well over 100 mainstream comics under his belt, and 15 novels and stuff. So, you know, we're looking at a prolific writer who has entertained us for 46 years. Doesn't matter. I mean, the most important number there, Tyler, for me is obviously the backers. Because if you get 1,000 backers, you can keep, and you make 800 happy, they'll help it grow back to 1,000 and more the next time you're out. So you're building a business based on keeping people happy and giving them what they want. For Mike, even if it did $1 million, he deserves everything because he's entertained us for 46 years. So whatever we do as far as numbers and money and things like that, this is really all about Mike. Mike, you know, Mike deserves it.
I mean, this isn't just some dude. This isn't just some guy. You know, this is Let's I got a really good question at the bottom, but I want to read some of the comments in here. Calvary Collective, I'm so happy I backed Entity. Can't wait. Hey, thank you so much, Calvary Collective. Arnold Lopez, I've been overloading on ideas, man. I just look at the Florida Man campaign. You'll get a lot of ideas. Rebel Gaming, effing Tim Lim and his rabbits, dude. I love Tim Lim and his rabbits. That's what got me thinking about some of the fun stuff. And then some people are putting in what their Florida Man is. So July 21st for Ichthus, Florida Man shot and killed over parking space. Let's see. Tyler's shirt is controversial and may have to be canceled. I wore this shirt just for the stream. I'm trying to cosplay. Shinobi Raccoon, June 26th. Florida man accused of killing dancing flamingo is hit by a truck and then killed before trial. Florida man kills himself by throwing his shoe at a spider. And then Arnold Lopez, turns out the dumbass was carrying his gun at the very same shoe. Jeez. Adrian, this looks like My Name is Earl the comic. Massive Panda for $5. Thank you so much. Great looking artwork on this Florida Man comic. It looks freaking awesome. So here's a question, and then after that, guys, after this question, we're gonna get into artists who changed comics. Let us know in the chat who you guys think should be on this, who we should discuss, but as we discuss our own. But how did you get hooked up with Mike Barron? I mean, Mike Barron, like you said, he's a prolific writer. He's not just some guy. How did you get in contact with him?
Well, Mike is the third Eisner winner that I worked with. I got very lucky. I was very, very lucky to sort of take this sort of path and get lucky early on. So I had done some work for some of his friends. One of them being James Hudnall, who won Eisner's with some of his independent work, which was really good, especially Espers and stuff like that. And then I also did a prose novel cover for Mike W. Barr called Once a Wizard. So through some sort of word of mouth, I ended up with Mike.
Wow, that's awesome.
Lucky. Yeah.
That is awesome. Guys, go check this out. Seriously, go check it out. The base price right here is $25 for the graphic novel. That is an awesome price for what you're going to be getting. It's not 56 pages. It's now 64 pages. Seriously, guys, go check this out. I'm going to put the links.
Larry want Todd, add me to the private which private hangout? I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah, Larry, clarify. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a secret group that we're all unaware of.
I'm in the Pontificators. That's probably the only group. It's not really secret.
All right. Oh man, my baby's awake. It's okay. My wife will take care of it. All right. So let me move my microphone. Gosh, I gotta buy a microphone.
Here's a question from Itchy that the locations in Florida Man are actual locations. Well, no, because I really wanted to throw some sort of Gary lives in Turpentine, Florida. It's not really a place, but I wanted to throw some iconic imagery at you. And there's the Blue Swallow Motel. Now, why did I choose the Blue Swallow Motel? Well, here's what it's iconic for. If you have a classic car, you park it underneath the sign and you take a picture of it. It's on Route 66. So, granted, it's not in Florida, but I wanted to throw these little Easter eggs at you and these little things because you do a little research or whatever. I mean, I needed a motel. The Pink Flamingo is across the street, which is in Florida. You know what I mean? That is a real location.
Oh no, we've lost audio from you.
Oops, I think I clicked it as I went
You just got like so excited, and then it went.
I took the Blue Swallow from Nevada and put it in Florida just because of that. What you're seeing is a 1956 Ford F1 pickup, back with when they had the V8 symbol on the front with chrome, and then it had two symbols on the sides of the hood where it starts to curve up. There's two symbols there, so I choose purposely. There's an Eldorado behind that car, so that location was ripe for what it was. I mean, this is like one of those well-known locations. Go, if you're driving Route 66 with your car, go take your picture there. They don't even let anyone park there. They allow you to take a picture there and then get on your way. So I did some things like that.
That's cool. That's cool. We got Calvary Collective here saying, after seeing some of the art from Tyler, I really wish I could see Draw and Talk do a Sandman book. That's funny they say that because I like the style of the Sandman and I have all 10 volumes and I actually don't enjoy those books. But maybe I got to give them another chance. That's what Frank Martin said in our last stream. Drip Monkey, currently at work, so I'm muting the stream and I hope I'm not missing out on any Kickstarter tips /Indiegogo. Just put out a good book. I mean, we're not really talking about tips. I guess the biggest tip is get canceled. Get canceled and have a hate mob come after you. Larry says, Todd says they do hangouts late at night. I want in.
Okay. You want in on that? I can. I'll put you in the Dillard live streams.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, guys, once again, Florida graphic novel. Let me put that link in the chat and go check it out. And then once again, all right, let's do this. Let's talk about artists. Let's talk about artists who changed. Let's see. You want to talk about artists who their style impacted the industry. Let's just take turns. You'll name one, I'll do one, and we'll just go back and forth for a bit.
Okay. And
then if you guys in the chat have any artists, let us know. So Todd,
let me preface this by saying this. This is kind of how I think of it. Think of this ladder stretched across, or this wire stretched across, and then there's all these ladders that hang from it, and then you got the guy at the first rung. But then you have guys that are kind of derivative and show influence of that guy. So that's kind of how I've always thought of this: is that wire stretched across. There's a bunch of ladders. You have over here the quintessential, say, Travis Charest, realistic. Then you might have over here Jeff Smith of Bone. So there's your line. You go from cartoony to ultra realistic, and then all the little ladders drop down along the way.
It's quite the metaphor. Gosh, okay, that's going to be intense. Man, I've had a long day at work. You're making me think now. Okay. All right. So I'll let you go first. Give us someone.
Obviously, I'll start with somebody coming from that same 70s era, right? Yeah. Been in the business since that long. Butch Guice. Yeah, very realistic. If you look at his ruse work from
How do I spell that? Because I put Butch Guys and I just got a lot of naked dudes.
Oh, it's like juice, but with a G.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, because I was like, oh, I got porn up in here. Butch Guys.
Yeah, Jackson Guys.
Okay.
Same guy, but he goes by Butch. So he started in the 70s, late 70s, and he has that realistic style. Granted, he's been inked by different people. He has almost like 2 or 3 styles where there's sort of this sketchier style, and then there's this very clean with which Ruse was. He was inked by Mike Perkins, and some of the most realistic stuff, backgrounds and all, was just absolutely amazing. So I actually fall into, maybe the lowest rung of this ladder, where there are guys, guys that are like him, like Steve Epting and Mac Chatter and Mike Perkins. They all we're all on that same ladder going for the same kind of thing. Those guys all heavily influenced me. I don't know if you ever read a book by Steve Epting and I think it was Ed Brubaker, called Velvet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolute masterclass of comics. Synergy between colorist, artist, great writing, perfect storytelling, executing every beat. That's my masterclass book.
So this is what you like aim towards whenever you're drawing, is like Steve Epting, and Jackson Butch Goose. Gotcha. Yeah, I've never heard of this guy. I know I've heard of Steve Epting because I read Velvet and Sarah, and he did the art for Sarah.
Sarah.
Yes,
absolutely brilliant book.
Gotcha. No, oh man, my kid's struggling. Yeah, I really like this. I really like this art. My favorite type of art is anything that looks good in black and white. So like my personal influences on my art are Sean Phillips and Jock. I try to mesh those two styles as my own, and I can tell like looking at yours. That's why when I look at your art, I go, oh, this would look great black and white. I mean, this is
usually that balance that Steve Epting did in Velvet is about a 60-40 balance. Now this is comedy, and that's sort of a Norrish kind of style. So I pulled back a little bit
on the blacks.
You see, that stuff is, oh man, that's brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely love Velvet. If you've never read it, I know we're here to sell Florida Man, but if you've never read, this is colored, all the issues so far colored by Elizabeth Brettweiser, who's the GOAT colorist in the industry, and this is my masterclass book.
For sure. One thing that I love Elizabeth Brettweiser's colors. I have made a couple of videos last couple of days about how much I don't like her husband, but I do love Elizabeth Brettweiser's colors so much. One thing that like I loved about Velvet and like Steve Epting's art, because Ed Brubaker works like a ton. Like he's always working with Sean Phillips, and I've noticed that Sean's style is. It has this noir style, but it's a lot looser. It's a lot looser, whereas Steve's like pencils and inks are very tight. Like where like what you can see, you look at this panel and you go, okay, I know everything that's going on. And then with Sean's, he'll throw stuff in the background and it's left for mental interpretation. You go, oh, I see.
More or less of illusion. You got to create that illusion in your head.
Exactly, which is why he can draw like a whole issue in like 15 days because he's so quick. But there's so like this art is so good. Oh, that gets blurry.
I really do hope to someday do something where people go, wow, we could really see the Steve Epting influence in that.
Do you think it's important for every comic book? So like you said, this is your master class. Do you think that, I've never heard anyone say it, but I actually love that I'm really liking that. Do you think it's important that every comic book writer or artist have like that one book that's their master class, like that's the standard I want to be held to?
Well, I have a few, but yeah, I do think you need to recognize, well, see, I'm a little different, Tyler. I'm not, as much as I was into those flashy styles from the 90s and stuff, the people that came out of the Homage and Wildstorm studios and things like that. I love all that stuff.
House styles.
Yeah, there's people like Aaron Weisenfeld who did that black and white Conan. Wasn't Conan. It was actually Conan Death Blow or whatever. Yeah, I think it was Conan and Death Blow. But there was Richard Bennett who did Brass, but those guys were kind of derivatives of Neil Adams. But when it comes to I've always been this guy who what is my job? My job is a storyteller. My job isn't to outflash the story and throw, all my characters are jumping out at you. My job is to further the story along with visuals that are interesting, compelling, and meet and hit all those beats, right? So that's where my masterclass comes from, is storytellers. These guys were excellent storytellers. Um, there were others, others who were great story, like Lee Weeks. Lee Weeks would fall right in this area
Weeks is amazing.
with these guys. So he, his artwork is, to me, is lovely to look at, but he isn't. He's fostering the story. He serves the story. It's not, uh, let's throw Batman on this gargoyle for the purpose of. It's really just a very, very well executed story. So if you were to say, well, which Lee Weeks run would be your master class? Well, there's a few of them, but I mean, those 12 Angry Men issues that he did with Tom King, absolutely brilliant.
With I mean, if I look at this panel, and if you had that kind of like house style where like you've got or you, like you said, the flashy thing, you would have this guy breaking through the panel, and he have all these muscles, and you would take away from like the movement that he's created, where he's jumping out a window, and now he's now you bring the eye down to him shooting, and now you bring the eye level to him falling, and all of that gets lost when you're trying to break the panels, break the borders, and bigger is better. But when you zoom out with your camera and you get the full picture, it's almost like creating something bigger, like zooming, having the camera farther away from him in that first panel and jumping out. It shows, okay, he's falling and he's going to land on this car. Whereas if they just like zoomed in on his body and his face and made him all flashy, you wouldn't really get the depth of what's happening. You're like, oh, there's glass everywhere, but what's happening? Yeah, he's such a good artist. I like that masterclass thing now that you said.
You want to hear of another masterclass book?
I'm ready. Put it up. I'll put it up.
Black Monday Murders.
I tried reading the story and I didn't like it.
Dark. I thought you liked dark. This is really.
I think this was. I think this was too dark for me. Like that's a little.
Really?
I like dark, but I don't like satanic dark. Yeah, this was a little too much to me. I just think I picked it up because of the art.
Yeah.
I left because of the story. Not that it wasn't good, but I was kind of like, this is. But the art in this is. I thought the art was almost photographic.
Yeah.
On how like
and
that's how
he's actually interesting enough. You say that. That's the illusion, because he would, if you were to take those ladders, right, and you have Sean Phillips here and Steve Epting here, he'd actually fall in between, because there is a stylized look to this that is there, because he inks differently. He doesn't feather, like it doesn't look like brushwork and things like that. So it does fall kind of in between those two. But it's funny how the illusion is a little bit more photographic, and I wonder where that comes from. I mean, I get it, but I wonder what the actual, like, why you're hitting on that note. Why does it look more photographic to you than Steve Epting? I mean, maybe it's the props.
I think it's the coloring. I think it's the coloring.
Yeah, it could be.
Because like I just see like this reflection right here on the black guy's forehead, and I just go, oh, like that's how it really would be if he was in the lighted room and you took a picture. There might be that, but I don't know. I mean, I wonder if he used like Google SketchUp or like I know Sean Phillips uses he uses all photo reference. And so that's why whenever you look at his comics, you go, oh, that's him, because he draws himself almost in everything. And then I look at this and I don't know I don't know what's making me feel like it's photographic. But I also felt like Steve Epting's I felt like this was photographic too, but I think it's something to do with the brushwork. That makes you go, oh no, it's, I don't know. They're just both so good.
I do believe there's a synergy there between the art, the coloring, very professional quality to it. Elizabeth lights everything so perfectly in this book. Whereas the other guy, by the way, in Black Monday Murders, is executing things via scene. There are certain characters in that book that are only seen in certain hues. So there's a little bit of that. What was that Chinese movie that was like that, where they would everything was in different hues. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or something like that. So there was a lot of weird things that were done cinematically with color in that movie. It's done in this actual comic where certain characters you'll only see
Certain hues.
and it's very much on purpose. But I don't think everyone picks up on it right away.
Okay, I now know why I think this is photographic. I'm ready. One, I think this background is photographic with some Photoshop ink work. I think it's so. I look at these and I feel like how he drew. I feel like it's the line work. So do you see like the hair?
Yeah.
I feel like he has the photo. He traces the shape and then it's the brushwork. It feels very like, okay, I'm trying to contain the shape. Whereas Steve Epting's, and I'm sure he uses photo reference. His feel like more natural, but I don't know. It just looks so good though. And that's the thing is, who cares if he does it? He's masking it well enough that makes the art look good. And that's what's important.
Right. I mean, obviously, there are times when I use photo reference. The characters eventually get in your head so well that you can draw them in any angle, any possible way. But at first, it's not like that. For the first 20, 30 times that I drew Gary really kind of, I don't know if you ever watched Moonshiners, Tyler, but there's a character on there called Tickle. And Gary looked a little bit like Tickle at first. And then he kind of evolved, and I wanted to bring out some of the Cuban ancestry of him and stuff like that. So it eventually got to where it is, but it didn't start out that way. And before I ever put Gary on a page, I had him down and sort of in my head. Now Floyd's a little harder, because he's got a mullet and a little bit of he's got a mullet with a little bit of a pompadour on the top. So he's very different. And I'm finding it hard to do Floyd from just every angle with his sort of hairstyle. I know that sounds funny, but I'll eventually get there. But you know what I mean?
You're gonna do it multiple times though.
Yeah, but I do start out melding two people together and trying to find what I like about them. I do this with a lot of characters that are going to be prevalent in the book. I kind of pick out, well, I want him to have this heroic job, but with this kind of a, sort of swarmy eyes or something like that. You know what I mean? So I kind of find that, and then I build off of that, and then eventually I have who the character is going to be. But that is how I start out.
All right, let's get into the chat real quick. We have Rebel Gaming saying Michael Turner. Christopher C saying Joanne Safar. Never heard of her. Nasser Rabadi can't watch, just popping in to say hello. What's up, Nasser? Alan Ellsworth. I gravitate more towards cartoony styles. I like realistic styles too. So I'm guessing, Alan, you like some Scotty Young. Actually, you do, because you talked about that in the last show, in that show that we did. Dave Finch's art always looks better in black and white. Steve Ditko was an awesome storyteller. Larry says Crouching Tyler, Hidden Larry. Christopher C says pornographic is almost far enough. Massive Panda, or are you talking about the movie Hero? I think you were talking about Hero, because remember Hero had a ton of hues. It was a really colorful Chinese. I call them flying Chinese fighting movies. I remember watching those as a kid, and my grandpa was like, "Well, Chinese people actually fight like that." And I was like, "I'm Chinese." He goes, "Yeah, we're only half, so you can't do it." So I was like, dang it. Drip Monkey, Ryanstagram. What do you think about any of those artists that people said? Do you like Dave Finch? Would you say he's got more of a house style, like a comic house style?
Well, I see the difference between David Finch and other people, but I do see where you can trace that lineage from.
Yeah, I like that you call it the lineage, because if you look at Jason Fabok, his lineage is from David Finch, because he mentored with David Finch. He was like, "Hey, listen, at some point you got to do your own. You gotta break off away from me." But I remember David Finch said that if you have this style, you will always have a job at DC or Marvel. So that's why Jason was like, "Oh, I guess I'll keep drawing this way." What do you think about like artists like Scotty Young, and they do things like I Hate Fairyland, very stylized, cartoony work.
I appreciate that kind of stuff, right? Like I mentioned on the other end is like Jeff Smith and stuff. I appreciate that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people who, strangely enough, that are minimalistic
Mm-hmm.
and fall between sort of realism and cartoony, like the Jorge Fornes and stuff. So,
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
yeah. So these people, like, look, I appreciate them all because there's something I'm learning something by looking at them. Now, I may not push my art in that direction, or I may go like this. Hey, someday you want to do a children's book? Yeah, I do. So I'll have remembered that those people taught me something because they came out, they're so different and so unique, like Scotty Young. He's very unique, even when it comes to someone like Jeff Smith, who was very pogo, and Walt, I forget his name, Walt something or other.
Simpson?
Carl Barks and I forget the other guy, but you know what I mean. These are guys that you can see their derivative. You can see where they were influenced. So Scotty Young, I really don't see where. I mean, I think it would be something like Ren and Stimpy. So it's that guy. I don't know if it's or.
You watched a lot of Nickelodeon.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's that in his work, or Butch Hartman, or people like that. So there's something to be said about everyone, right? Every quality. There are artists that I do not like, but doesn't mean I don't. There isn't something I can't.
Give me an artist that you don't like. I'd love to see it.
Hopefully
I know him.
Well, he's doing a book over at AW Rosnas. Something Rosnas. I forget Rosnas. I don't know if it's Ruben Rosnas or something Rosnas.
Ruben Rosnas.
That's not Ruben.
What's his art?
His art. You know what he did? He did some Marvel work, and nobody's on model.
Nobody is on model?
No.
Oh, that's
he just did a book that came out this week for Marvel, and Namor's in it. Who else is in it? But nobody looks like their original character. So you know how that's basically huge to what your job is. Granted, you might pick a guy like Joshua Middleton or something like that to do Superman, and he takes it into a direction of his own artwork, but yet you can still see the face and the image of Superman. You know,
kind of like you have like Jeff Lemire. Like what would you say about this? Like, would you say, because this is his own style, but would you say these are on model?
Yeah, letting someone do those legacy characters like that, where they're kind of missing the model, I would say it's not exactly on. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. But it's tricky. I mean, he's stylized, right?
He's very stylized, but I also think that like they would never put him in a book, and he would never do a book that where he was doing the interior arts like this. I don't think.
Well, they wouldn't put him on the main Superman book or the main Batman.
Yeah, they'd give him his little mini.
Because those guys do have to keep those books on model, but doesn't mean it has been done. Because I swear to you, this guy Joshua Middleton was on the regular Superman book, whether it was Action Comics or it was. But his work is wow. Maybe
is this the right guy? I've seen his covers. I've seen this cover. It's very
no, that's not the right guy. I'm thinking of someone else. Joshua. It does start with an M. Hold on, let me go through my files.
I'm curious to know what what artist that you said was everything was off.
Well, even look at for instance, like, would you say that Ed McGuinness is on model? No, he brings.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, he brings the model onto his style, and it's sort of like you can still see it there, but it's really not that old Joe Luis Garcia Lopez model sheet look. Like, make sure all the characters look like this that they used to give out in the 80s.
I don't personally enjoy Ed McGuinness's art. So like I look at this and I go, and I don't know. I think it's just really cartoony. It's too cartoony for me. But that's just his style. I'm not saying that he's a bad artist, but also he can do stuff like this. And I don't know. Maybe it's just the colors. No, it still looks the same. Never mind. All right, let's see. Let me get into the chat real quick. Jeff Lemire is more minimalistic as well. His black and white work is insane. Walt Disney, Todd. I love Brett Booth art. Brett Booth is good. Someone put Greg Capullo. I like Greg Capullo. Matteo Scalera. Ooh, I really like Matteo Scalera. Chris C. Looks like we're throwing shade on Drawn Talk. Alan Ellsworth. John Romita Jr. does that as well. I don't love John Romita Jr.'s art, but he did kick ass, which I love the story. And then Chris C. But was this book made for children? And that's another thing is I had this conversation with someone on Twitter where like comics need to go back to children, and I'm kind of agreeing. I think a lot of some of the stories are really mature. And I think if you want to get the younger generation in, we need to start doing some more kid-friendly books, some more campier Batmans. And then when they grow up, they can start reading, darker stuff.
I do agree with that. And there's almost a masterclass book for that. I don't know if you remember. Mark Brooks did Spider-Man Marvel Age. Granted, you look at what he's doing now versus what he did then. And this was sort of that book that was aimed at kids. So yeah, his early work in sequential work was very, very kid appealing. It had almost a Joe Madureira quality to it, but yet you see him today, and he does these realistic covers where he's actually using Copic marker. But yeah, that Spider-Man, Marvel Age Spider-Man, those interiors were. And that book was geared towards kids, but it was actually that good that I used to pick it up for my kids so that I would actually get to look at it because I really liked his artwork and his style. I'm not bagging on styles. Like I'm just saying there are some people who do this sort of work, and their style is such a stretch, or that has some sort of eclectic quality where you wouldn't see them normally on Superman Rap, but sometimes they get to do that. I mean, look, Mike Kunkel got to do Shazam, and so did Jeff Smith. He did a Shazam, and these guys are very, very, very cartoony, but they're very, very cartoony good. Mike Kunkel, I have one in front of me, Kunkel.
Kunkel.
Yeah. He was Hero Bear. Yeah, look at that Shazam.
Wow. Here's the thing that like this would be perfect for like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, but was it the main Shazam book?
It was a limited series.
Oh, like Billy Batson, the Magic of Shazam?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So for instance, if I thought that I needed to kind of go in this direction, I would try to find what I do and mix in with what they do and try to find something. Like I've done Ignition, right? Ignition is a superhero that I've created where the design was involved in some option for cartoons, and I did a bunch of turnarounds in a cartoony style, so it's not like I can't do it. It's just not my thing. And, but I have them. If you want to see them, I'll show you guys.
Let's see. Christopher C. Mainstream superhero comics are made for kids, but grown men get bent out of shape when you make them learn a lesson. I like that. Ichthus. Ed McGuinness art is a mix between cartoon and sly anime mixed to it. It looks a bit of a mess and hard for me to digest. Well, I like that you said that. So if you look at like Sean Gordon Murphy's art, if you listen to him talk, he had a house style at first, and then he just started hating his life. If you listen to, it's actually this interview, artist profile, and he started incorporating more manga stuff and like Akira, and that's when he really brought in his dirty brush, style. And he said that was like the best decision he made in his career. So if you like, obviously having a house style is important, but you get people, but then you have, you have art like this, and now he is, taking DC, by storm. You get people like Steve Epting. I mean, he did freaking, he did Winter Soldier with Ed Brubaker.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Epting. I have that book. And it's so good. And, it's not necessarily your David Finch or Greg Capullo style art, but it's still his own style, but it's good enough where he can do his own thing, and he could do like this Captain America book just fine. I think that's what you need. I think that's important. I mean, for me personally, I'm someone I'm trying to find my style right now, Todd, and it's a mixture of I love noir. Like, do you plan on ever doing a noir like book?
Yes, I will do something like that at some point. But I do, my normal style does have that 60/40 black, which does give it that quality. Even when I do superheroes, I try to have a very
60/40.
Yeah, that's the balance of what I try to go for.
You're teaching me so much. I didn't know like 60/40 because I'm like, yeah, that's mine. A lot of people actually get angry. They don't get angry, but they'll comment. They go, I don't like they use all that black, Tyler. And for me, I'm like, oh, that's what makes it fun for me.
Yeah, it helps the illusion.
Yeah, like look at the where is this Captain America? Like it's like right there. It's that whole leg right there is black.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's going on,
right?
Same with that. Black.
So here's my animated sort of style. I did some turnarounds for Ignition. Was originally called Burning Man, and then it evolved. It's been evolving for years, but there was this character that's there's the turnarounds for Ignition himself. So you see the different quality, the more like I was trying, basically in my head, I was Disney-esquing it up a little bit, and going that direction. So I did a bunch of these things.
Do you draw traditionally or do you draw digitally?
I draw digitally now.
Do you use a tablet?
Yeah, I have I don't have a Cintiq. I have sort of a knockoff, or what they used to call knockoff.
Yeah. What do you have?
I have a Union.
Okay, is it good? I have a crappy UG.
My Union's on the way out, and so I'm looking at this new XP Pen 24.
Oh man, do you know the YouTube artist Ross Strauss?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see his review on that tablet?
Yeah.
He said he was like, "This is basically my Cintiq."
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that review and I went, "Hey babe, so I know my tablet works, but I just saw this awesome video." And she's like, "There's no space on your desk for that thing." I go, "Okay, but in the future." And then I bought myself a freaking iPad a couple weeks ago. But that XP Pen 24 looks dope. I love this. And you draw? I mean, I'm okay. So I'm looking at your what's it called? Your computer. It looks like you draw on Clip Studio and Photoshop.
Yeah. I draw in Clip Studio, and I have Photoshop, but a lot of people have started showing classes. Well, here's the difference. I'll go back to let me get out of screen share here. There is a difference between Photoshop and Clip Studio when it comes to coloring, right? You can't. It doesn't have channels. So channels is where you'd go, okay, I'm going to set all my foreground into a grouping that I can affect warm or cold with a slider. So you might color it kind of straight up and then affect it by by pushing it all towards the blues or whatever. Yeah. You could even warm it. So that's what you can't do in Clip Studio, but you can actually make channels. So John Roch, who colors Nick Bradshaw. He colored Invincible. Mm-hmm. He colored the first few issues of Wayward. Very beautiful color palette, by the way. He now he doesn't exclusively color in Clip Studio, but he did a webinar. One of my favorite colors, K. Michael Russell, who I've taken classes with. He has an online class, and I've taken a couple of them because he had two versions, but he just added a new version because he now moved exclusively to Clip Studio. So these guys are showing you, one, you can download their actions. An action is a way of creating channels.
Uh-huh.
You can download it, and now it's something every time it goes into, it's almost like a tool. An action is almost like a tool. It has its own area. So you go, okay, boom. So he's found a way to create channels which allow you to use certain filters and stuff like that. So they're pushing that bar more towards Photoshop than ever before. And he's actually he has a class, and it's only $50.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of online videos that he's made, downloadable things. And I'll probably get it because I don't want to have to pay for a subscription.
No.
So I'm kind of down on the whole Photoshop thing.
Yeah, it's expensive. The Adobe Cloud. I mean, it's funny. I think Adobe knows that they've goofed because my company that I work for, we just canceled our Adobe Creative Cloud, and they're like, okay, well, we're sorry that you're wanting to do that. Can we give you a month free? And they're like, no. And they go, okay, that's fine. We'll give you 3 months free. And my company's like, no, like we really don't need this anymore. They go, fine, we'll give you 6 months free. How about that? And my company's like, no, like we really don't. They go, okay, how about this? 1 year free, and then after that, we'll start charging you. And then my company's like, seriously, we really don't want Adobe Creative Cloud. But I was like, holy crap! It went to the point that they're willing to give it out for free. Mm-hmm. They're like that desperate to hopefully, okay, after that free year, we'll start getting their money again. They've really goofed.
You know what? I've never had any real trouble with Clip Studio, by the way, as far as like an update, and the update comes out, they have made changes to certain tools that I don't like, but doesn't mean it created any kind of
problem.
Upset in my system. Wouldn't work for a day until a patch came out. But Photoshop is known for that, and you'll see on the internet, everyone on one day will go, I knew I shouldn't have downloaded that update.
It's funny. Everyone on the same day, you'll see the Twitter. Oh my gosh, is everyone else having trouble with Photoshop?
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of done with Photoshop. And granted, I have Marte Garcia brushes.
Mm-hmm.
I have some really, really beautiful brushes created by some of the pros. And I even have the Dark Horse swatches. Dark Horse, back in the day, before there was digital coloring, gave out a swatch set that was say it was 3,000 colors that had 0K in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back to these books colored by Dave Stewart and Matt Hollingsworth, they were using these swatches and there's no K in them. And you don't even realize it. You don't even realize how beautiful, because those two guys are they're the other goats of the industry. I mean, Dave McCaig, Matt Hollingsworth. These guys, I've been watching color for years. I've always, by the way, even though I'm an artist, I've been trying to be this sort of do-all artist.
Yeah.
So I do travel this path of learning and exploring and trying to figure out how, reverse how they do it. But I do think from now and forever, I will only color in Clip Studio.
No, I'm with you on that. I mean, I color on Clip Studio. I freaking love it. All right, guys. Well, we're at the 58-minute. I had a ton of fun with Todd. Now we're 58 minutes in. We still got time. But I want to once again hit him up with I want Florida Man, guys. Florida Man. Go check out, because we're here to talk comics. We're here to talk artists. We're here to praise artists. We're here to learn from artists, but we're also here to learn about Florida Man, the hilarious tales of a larger-than-life figure from the magical land that is Florida. You have 18 days to back this book. $23,000 have been hit. 433 backers. You could be one of those 433 backers. And it was 56 pages. It's now 64. Why'd you guys move it up?
Oh, it was our first stretch goal of 20K.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. And then did you do the coloring for this as well?
No, that cover, by the way, colored, and glad you asked, because I always want to give credit where credit is due. The magic is the synergy between me and Brett R. Smith, because he upped the game on this cover. I would say it was a 50, and he made it 100. He
I
did
love
a very, very excellent job. There
it's a
are
beautiful
things on
cover.
this page that I've colored, but this is not one of them. This is the difference between me coloring myself and a pro coloring me.
Uh-huh.
It's just 10 times.
So he is he the one who does is it your coloring or his?
No, that is our colorist that's handling all the interiors.
Gotcha.
His name is Iksan and Sanari, and he's from Indonesia.
How nice is it, by the way? I've only had it on a couple occasions. I mostly ink and color my own work, but I had one job where the person was like, "Hey, the writer was like, hey, I paid a colorist. You just have to turn in the black and white pages." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best feeling in the world." I finished inking a page, I scan it, and I send it off. I don't know how you felt about it, but how do you enjoy that? Just being able to finish the page and go, "Here you go."
Yes,
Do the rest.
I am Tyler. I'm what I would call a passable colorist. I am
Okay.
not. I don't think I have it all figured out yet at all.
Well, you're learning, I'm sure, and you're an incredible sequential artist.
I colored that sign, by the way.
You call it the sign?
Yeah,
See, there you go.
I'm good at skin tones and things like that. But yeah, I do like. Here's the thing, right? You color. Oh, first you pencil. You might pencil 5 pages, then you might ink 5 pages. By the time you get to the point where you're coloring, I don't want to look at those pages anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I color something, it's color. Okay, I got to color this for an asset, or I got to color this the Floyd's End of Humanity sale. I colored that one because I wanted not to be on the hook for anything.
Yeah.
For anybody. This was me and Mike, right? Me and Mike began this journey over a year and a half ago. So if we were going to crowdfund, I said, I'll color the assets. I'll do what we need to do. We won't be on the hook for anybody. If this doesn't make it, it's just, I got to go this journey with Mike Barron, and no big deal, right? So whatever hours or whatever I put into it, that would be just because I was lucky to walk in his footsteps in a sense.
Uh-huh.
So, granted, we're here today. We did get some things colored because people really believed in the project, and they said, "No, I think this project is going to make it. Let's get some things colored." So I didn't really have to color everything, and I'd rather not. Imagine me penciling, drawing, and inking, and coloring 64 pages. I'd want to murder the pages.
Well, I'm with you. I have a crime noir graphic novel. I penciled ink and inked, colored, and lettered 48 of the pages, and I have 30 more, and I'm like, I can't do it. And it's just sitting on a file. And I keep looking at like, is this the next 2 months I decide to really go down on this? I go, no, I can't. It's just I'm literally dreading all the work, and it's making us. So that's why I asked, like, isn't it awesome just to like you do your page and then you just go, okay, I don't want to see you anymore until you're finished. This is a beautiful page, by the way, that you're showing.
Yeah, I wanted to show the page I was working on right now, and it's almost done. I just got to finish up some of the foliage in the background and stuff like that.
And then, Todd, do you do this full time, or do you have another job?
No, I'm actually full time right now. I've been doing full time for about 4 years.
That's incredible. That's awesome. I'm always wondering that from people. Are they doing this full time? Do they have a day job? And it just goes to show like how hard work. Everyone who's doing indie comics is working hard, whether they have a day job or they're doing it on their own. Because drawing comics is long.
Well, and it also lends into why are we even doing this, right? Kind of thing. Of, me and you, we could go get a job tomorrow, per chance, at Marvel, and that really isn't going to be a lot of money. That's not a living wage, So now you're sitting there, you're grinding away to get 22 pages done inside of 30 days, and you're not getting paid what you're worth at all.
Yeah, so, I did the math on that, and I was shocked.
Right. I mean, granted, now if it only took me 6 hours to do a page and I did 2 pages in a day, now you're looking at it differently. It's
Yeah.
different money, right? But that's not the case right now. So if I went and there are some pages that take me 16 hours and there are some pages that take me 8 hours, but you broke it down into hour, you're really not making even what, they're pushing the new hourly what federal rate
Yeah.
for.
Oh, I'm like, I told my wife, I was like, hey, like, there was this hashtag going on, like, how much did I make? And a bunch of Marvel artists came on, and I told my wife, I was like, hey, if I ever got a job in Marvel, you're definitely gonna have to you're gonna have to go back to work right now. And she was like, why? I was like, I make less than what I would at my day job right now. And she's like, oh, well, keep your day job. keep your day job.
And it's right. Look, if you read the names, and these guys are talented guys. Don't take this the wrong way. These guys are very, very talented. Some of these guys are now becoming some, like Jorge Jimenez, but he lives in Granada, Spain. Rafa Sandoval, but he lives in another where they live. When they get paid American money through PayPal,
They're killing it.
they're making more money than a doctor does in their country.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I paid for my artist Travis Martinez. We did 14 issues of Demons, and my friend lived in the Philippines for 2 years, and he was like, "How much do you pay that guy?" And I told him the amount. And he goes, "Oh my gosh, that guy must be just loving life." And really, I don't think I'm paying him that much. He goes, "Oh, dude, he is loving life right now. You really paid him that much?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, dude, he's covered. He's like super covered." I was like, "Oh, well, geez."
And if you know the whole deal, by the way, it's if you pay them through PayPal, like if you were to transfer money from a U.S. bank to a Brazilian bank, per se, Brazil takes 40% off the top just for the transfer. So that's why these guys are living large, because they're being paid through PayPal. So there's nobody taking a piece of their money except for PayPal. It takes a little bit, but it's like,
yeah, it's nothing.
Pittance.
Yeah.
So these guys are making out, and that's great. I'm glad. And they're, like I said, they're some of the most talented guys, but they're teaching it in high school there, I think. I think these guys are learning it in their high school.
How to be a comic book artist. That's hilarious. Oh, man. All right, guys. Go check out Florida Man. It's got 18 days left. Go support Todd. Go support Mike Barrett, and go support their awesome team. Let me put that link in the chat. And then also, guys, go check out that's not the right link. One of these days I'm going to dox myself. One time I almost did it with my Patreons and all of their information. That wasn't good. Also, guys, remember to check out I didn't even show Florida Man when I said that. All right, start all over. What? Rewind. Okay, everyone, go check out Florida Man.
Oh, you know what you didn't do? You didn't show the video. The video is the best part.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't use the Windows, and my Mac isn't able to play the video and to let everyone hear it.
Ooh, you need to inject.
I think. Let's try. Can you hear that?
No, I can't hear.
Can you hear that?
No.
Yeah. See, I have a Mac, and it doesn't let. I have to pay StreamYard to do it.
Well, no. There is a way, but
there is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
but we'll go after. We'll go through that after.
Todd will teach me, because I'm having a boomer moment right now.
It's all right. We'll get you up to speed, and you'll be able to do this next time.
Guys, go check out Florida Man. Go watch this video. I've seen this video. It's actually really funny, and it's super creative. They've got 18 days to go, 433 backers. You could be one of those backers as well. Go check out Entity, currently on Kickstarter. We have 6 days to go. The book is $20. It's 100+ pages. It's free shipping. You heard that right. It's free shipping. And after the 6 days, I'll let you guys know right now on this stream. If you're like someone who's like, I don't back Kickstarters, that's fine. On August 3rd, we're gonna do a 1-week campaign on Indiegogo. A 1-week campaign on Indiegogo. So links are in the chat.
There's some people in the chat that really been saying some really nice things, like Adrian. I appreciate it. You guys, I recognize these chat names from like years ago when we first kind of started to kind of connect. with the Dillards and these guys. I remember this Adrian guy. Maybe it was Fanspeak too. Maybe he used to watch Fanspeak. But I appreciate all the sentiments that these guys.
Yeah, Adrian. Yeah, Adrian goes around the streams. I've seen him on a bunch of streams, so it's awesome. I mean, like you said the whole page looks great. We got Drip Monkey here saying big love. Yeah, and people love the art, and there's a reason why it looks good. And you guys, I was actually surprised when this campaign started, because I've been seeing Florida Man for what I thought was like a year.
Yeah, you have.
I have. Okay, so I was just like, I was like, so when you messaged me like, can we talk about Florida Man? I was like, isn't it over? Like how much? Like how long is this been going?
It used to be connected to Ben Henderson in that. It's not but the
Cautionary Comics.
Cautionary. That's it. God, I always forget that. I don't know why, but yeah, it used to be connected to Cautionary Comics. That's where the cover came from. That's where the connection with Bret R. Smith comes from, because he knows Ben. And so, yeah, this is a long journey. That kind of, for whatever reason, Ben slips in. He gets like, yay, let's rally the troops. I'm going to do some YouTube. He slips back out. He slips out within days, and he goes away. And then he comes back in, and he goes, guess what? I'm back, and we're going to do YouTube, and who's with me? And then he goes back out. Well, I don't get it.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are finally able to find, like, just like, you know what, let's just greenlight this and let's go for it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Go follow Todd. Where can people find you? Your socials.
I use my real name. It's Todd Mulrooney, and you can find me at Mulrooney Todd on Twitter. But and I think it's Mulrooney Todd on Instagram. But if you Google, you can find all that stuff from me, and engage me, talk to me. I'll engage everyone. I follow back everyone. I do vet a little bit, but I follow back everyone because I'm hoping they'll ask me, hey, I'm kind of on the fence of Florida Man. What can you tell me about it? And then I can really twist your arm and show you some things you haven't seen yet and get you to back it.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreons, Andrew Rodriguez, John 3, Alan Ellsworth, Paul Tucker, Wendy Gale, Joshua Burris, Patrick Gerald, David Benson, Christopher Cronk, and Allison McGlone. You guys are helping make this possible. If you want to be a Patreon, go to patreon.com/DrawNTalk. For $1 or $5, you can support the channel, as well as you get all the behind-the-scenes stuff that I'm doing. You get exclusive episodes, and you get to see the projects that I'm working on that I don't show anyone until like they're actually out. So I've been showing the Patreon members projects that are going to be coming out in 2021. So, Todd, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And